G'day. See this camera? It's a Panasonic S5. And this switch, I'll tell you a little about that in a moment. We're just going on a rescue mission. Out the front of this property, in fact all the way along the street, there's a spoon drain. And I was coming home the other day and there was a white plastic pail in the spoon drain, and rather than leave it there just to get washed along and into a culvert somewhere or other, I picked it up and put it inside the property in readiness to take away. Now I can probably make use of that because, well, you know me, I recycle everything if I possibly can, and everyone can always use a bucket. Anyway, it had contained honey, and so I put it aside just thinking, well, I'll wash that out. But in the meantime, some bees apparently have gone in to salvage the honey, and why not? It's a ready source. They don't have to make their own if they can just go and collect a bit of a load of it. But the problem, I think, was that once they got in there, they found it difficult to get back out again. So the rescue mission is to go and retrieve those bees and to pour that little bit of honey that's left in the bottom into a container that they can access. So let's go and have a look at the bin. So this is the pail, and you can see the honey that's sitting in the bottom, and we've dropped a stick in so that the bees can clamber back out again. We'll grab the bucket and take it around the back. So we put it in a little yogurt container, make it a little easier for bugs to get in and get back out again. We'll plonk it up on here on a tree stump. And I'm hoping that that will enable bees to get at it. Back to that camera. I shot some footage the other day and it was unfortunately blurry, and that's because that little switch that I showed you, which is the auto manual focus switch, had been stuck on manual. Now I think I'd done that because I was doing something and then I'd completely neglected turning it back to auto again, and I just didn't see that the footage that I was shooting was blurry. But the difficulty is I can't reshoot it because I can't unmow the lawn because it was lawn mowing, nor can I really unmove the bus. I suppose I could, but it kind of spoils the spontaneity of it, so forgive me, but here's that blurry footage. With all the rain, the grass has grown, so naturally there's mowing to be done. And in doing so, we've disturbed a brown snake, and it's come out from underneath the bus. So I'm going to shift the bus and we'll just mow that grass underneath, and then I'll just park the bus over there for a while until the brown snake relocates himself. We'll just move the bus, we'll leave it over here for a while, we'll mow that patch where the bus is sitting, move it back in a day or so, but meanwhile we'll just get it out of the way so that that brown snake can find a new home to live in or under. Yeah, I'm just going to park it up alongside the garden area here because I want to come back in a minute and do something in the garden, as you'll see. If I'm not mistaken, we've just witnessed the reluctant assistant, my camera shy assistant, get bogged. Just keep an eye on her and see if she moves. She's bogged, and now she's having to push it. Look, we've all done that. But it's pretty funny, isn't it? You know, standing back and watching someone and not offering to help. Let's see how she goes. Fixed. All recovery should be that easy. One of these posts here in the garden area is not straight, as in perpendicular. You can see it if you line it up with the others. It's kind of a distinct lean in. So what we're going to try and do is pull that straight and then prop it up and then just see if it will resume the new shape. So here's the go. What we're doing is fastening this block to this, just a temporary fix, and this is going to be the prop. So let's fasten it. The reason for putting this block on is to stop the prop sliding up the post when the tension goes on it. It's as simple as that. Hook it up to the winch. We can take that off because we don't need that. And from my point of view, that's good enough. It's as simple as that. Then I also replaced a bulb in a bug catcher unit, and it's okay, but slightly blurry too. But they say a bushy can fix anything with a pair of pliers and a length of fencing wire, and that's probably true if you want to rehang your muffler that fell off, but not very good for things like this, and I'll get to that in just a moment. What I've got, however, to fix this is a couple of screwdrivers and a pen, and I'm supposed to have a blade which I haven't got, so I'll just shoot out and get that, and I'll be back in 1 second. And with the magic of television, there it is. It's it's a rusty old thing, but it's going to do the job. Now, what this is a Pestrol, I don't even know what it's called, but I'll put a link to it if you should want to get yourself one of these yourself. It's an exterior fly, mozzie, you know, flying insect trap. And it works on the basis that there's a fan and a black light. You can see the black light. Well, we'll have a closer look anyway, but there's a fan and a black light. Now the black light attracts the bugs, the fan blows them down here into this bottom here, and this is like these flaps. And basically once they get blown down, they can't get back up again, so they can't fly against the force of the downdraft, nor can they get past those flaps, you know, in the event that the flap should at least partially block their exit. And as you can probably see, there's a bit of a build-up of desiccated insects in the bottom here. Anyway, the black lights don't last forever, so they only last for, well, somewhere between 6 and 12 months. However, this one only lasted about 2 months, so I contacted Pestrol and they sent me a replacement completely free, which I'm impressed with. So here it is here. So that's what we need the blade for first, to open this up. And I spoke about this in an earlier episode when I was talking about complaining. I'll put a link to that description. And while I wasn't necessarily complaining to Pestrol, I was just trying to find out how long a bulb should last, because the last one had only lasted me 2 months, and they said, well, somewhere between 6 and 12 months. If you get 6 months, great. You know, if you get 12 months, that's fantastic. Now, I don't mind, because these are 20 bucks a piece. So you don't want to be buying a new bulb every couple of months. If they last for the designated time, and let's face it, 6 months isn't really all that long in the life of a bulb, you know, given that we can put bulbs up in the ceiling or, you know, wherever. There's exterior lights here, for example, and they'll last for years. So why is the black light so special that it doesn't last very long at all? Anyway, this is the new replacement, and that's all it is. So this ultraviolet or whatever it is light shines, it attracts the insects fly in, and like I said, they then get blown down into the bottom there and can't get back out. And it works pretty effectively. Now, with all of the rain that we've had, there's a lot of insects, or mozzies in particular. So at the moment I'm kind of lathered in an insect repellent, because otherwise I'd be getting eaten alive. But I want to refit this, but I want to give it a good clean while I'm at it, even though it was only cleaned a couple of months ago when I put that bulb in. So let's get stuck in, and I'll show you how these come apart if ever you need to do this yourself, because at first glance it doesn't appear that they do, but they do. Oh, one other thing, before I put this in, the reason I've got this is because I want to actually write the date on it, so that I can keep an eye on how long it lasts. So we'll write on here 212 23. That way we know if it blows in the next couple of months, we'll contact them again and just tell them that they're going to have to come up with a different system. We'll sort it out. Anyway, I'm going to pull this apart and show you. First things first is that this top just pulls off. So you can thread that out of there, put it in a bucket for cleaning. First thing we do is we take this part off. This just comes off, and that's the part that contains the insects, and you'll see in there those flaps that pop up, and so they actually contain the insects once you take that apart. And we can dump that in the trash. Now this bit here should just crack apart. Give it a crack. And there she blows. Now this tube here pops out, and that can get washed. This part here is the fan part, and we'll unplug like so. And then that is the bulb that we're going to replace. So it's a simple matter of getting our number 8 fencing wire. You see that? Unscrewing that screw. Pulling out the old bulb. Now the new bulb goes in exactly the same way, and there's this little catch which is what holds it in. And that's done. We're not going to reassemble it just yet because we want to clean out the clean those pieces, empty out the base, and clean that, and then we'll reassemble it. So we'll come back and we'll do that in a minute. Oh, well, the magic of video is actually the next day, because what I really wanted to do was to make sure that things like this, for example, this base, for example, had dried after washing, because the last thing we want to do is have it caked. If insects were blown into it, they'd kind of get glued to the side. So let's start putting it back together again. This basically goes in here. So this is the base where the insects get trapped. This is the flue or channel that the insects are driven down. This and this go together with that plug, and that just is just a press fit. Done. This, I think, is just a rain shield. See now the lights on and the fans blowing. See this thing? It's a SD card, the micro or nano or whatever they call it, and it belongs in the Volvo. It's in the dash cam, so I'm just going to go and replace it. So I took it out to grab a bit of footage that was on there, and I'll show you that actually, so you can see what it was that I extracted. But let me go and put it back in the Volvo, hey? This is the one, and IKEA have remarkable solutions for storage and really quite ingenious construction. Have a look at this. Two of those, and the whole headlight comes out. It's just a matter of popping that spring out, and the whole thing comes out. So it just pushes back in again. These are two different lengths. So the longer one goes to the back here, and the shorter one goes here on this side here. Job done. Now we just need to get a new one of these. This is the bulb out of the Volvo. It's a 12 volt 55 watt H7 halogen bulb, and I'm shopping for a replacement. And who would have thought there's so many options? It's a little like when you go into a shop, the supermarket, and you're going there buying, I don't know, cans of baked beans, and you go in there thinking, I'll just get a can of baked beans, only to find there's 5 or 10 different cans of baked beans available to you. So it's a matter of deciding which one it is that you want. And likewise with bulbs, except of course it's slightly more technical than just is there more beans or less beans in a can. It's a case of things like wattage or output, and you can buy a standard 12 volt 55 watt to replace this. There's also a 12 volt 80 watt, for example, so a higher current draw. But given that the relays and switches and wiring are designed for 55 watt, what's the consequence of running 80 watts through them? Is it overheating contacts, overheating wiring, and so on? So I think it's best to stick with the 55 watt. Now, in 55 watt range, you can also get a high output bulb, such as the Philips Racing Vision or the Osram Night Breaker. And they're still 12 volt 55 watt, but with 200% brighter. How on earth can you extract 200% more brightness out of a similar wattage bulb? Well, the way you do it, of course, is to use a finer filament, and a finer filament will glow brighter. But a finer filament is also a more fragile filament, and vehicles vibrate, they either through engine vibration, road vibration, or bouncing over pothole vibrations. And there's, I suppose, a limit to the number of times that that little filament can be shaken. So the higher output versions have a shorter warranty period, 6 months in the case of the night vision, or 6 months in the case of the Racing Vision or Night Breaker, or 12 months in terms of the standard filament. But there is also an extended life version. Now, I don't know what it is they do to get an extended life, whether that's additional cushioning within the body or of the bulb, I don't know. But that's the one I've opted for, because I kind of figure that the less often I have to replace a light bulb, the better, as far as I'm concerned. So that's what I've done. You also will have noted too that the headlight covers are somewhat cloudy, and this is a symptom of age. It happens to all of them. They're a polycarbonate lens, and they get cloudy over time. But that also means that it would probably fail a roadworthy, so I need to do something about that. So I've also ordered a headlight restoration kit. So next time there'll be the exciting fact of reinstalling the light bulb and polishing the headlights. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.